Hello and welcome back, everyone. I'm the Transplanted Country Girl. My name is Jenna. This is podcast number 7, and welcome back. I did not podcast last week because things just got busy and I didn't really have a ton to say, so I decided to take a week off. I am coming to you from upstate New York. The weather has been really nice here. It's been a nice change because with everything going on, it was really rainy and cold for a while, so I'm really happy that things are starting to look a little better outside and it's not so depressing. Today it is 76, but it's really muggy, which is fine because we got the pool all situated and the boys have been in there every day, so I'm really happy to have them out and swimming, and they ask 50 times a day if they can go in the pool, and I'm just really happy to have the pool up so they have something that they can do. Like in between their schoolwork and all of that, they'll do something and then they run out to the pool and then they come back in and work and run out to the pool. So I love that. Also, I'm not somebody who smokes or drinks or does drugs or anything like that, but the sun is a little bit of an addiction for me. I'm not one of those people that has to be in the sun constantly, but I do like to have a little tan. So I feel a little better when I have a tan and I can be outside and getting some sun. So I'm really happy that the weather is finally starting to cooperate, except where we live, it went from winter to summer. Like there was no middle. It was just winter and then a lot of rain and summer. So I wish there had been a little crossover where we didn't need coats and then didn't need tank tops right away. That's okay. Again, as long as the weather is here to stay for a little while, that's great. What have I been watching? Hubby and I watched the 2 seasons of Dead to Me. They were good. I liked it. I felt like there were a bunch of little twists that kept it interesting. I didn't know what to expect, but it was good. I liked it. Now I'm curious to see where they're going to go with the next season, so I'm looking forward to that. I told you that we finished Handmaid's Tale. I loved that. We just started watching, I think it's called Hightown, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily a show that I would have picked, but we love it because we go to Provincetown every year in Massachusetts in Cape Cod, and it's filmed there. So every time we're watching it, we try to figure out where they are and what's going on and places we've been, and they show the whole main street that has the drag queens and all the clubs and the stores and the restaurants. They're always showing those areas, and it's just really fun for us because we're like, oh, we know that drag queen. We see them every year. Or that, it's just really fun. So we've been having a good time watching that. And I just watched the whole first season. I think it's the only season of The Great, which is based on Catherine the Great. It's on Hulu. And I really liked it. I highly recommend that one. If you're thinking about watching it or needing something to watch, if you just watch the preview, I think they do a really good job of what it's actually about. So I would say that sounds like something you would like, watch it. But when I say like Catherine the Great, I don't mean it's like a historical, it's not that way. It's a series that they made loosely based on events that happened in her life. So it's really interesting. So if you just take a second and watch the preview, I think you would be into it. And like I said, that one's on Hulu, so that's a good one. School. We found out the other day that, well, I told you that we aren't going back for the rest of the school year, but we found out the other day that our distance learning will be done on the 12th. We would normally go almost to the end of June, so we are finishing early, but we did teach over spring break, and that was extra time. So they have decided to let us finish early, and I think we're all pretty relieved. Not that we don't love teaching. We love teaching. We love our class. We don't want it to be over. But this is just really hard, and this is not what teaching is. And we do a lesson every morning, and it can be really hard for me with the boys, and I have to do their school, and I have to do my school. So this is not ideal for me. I'm trying to stay in contact with the kids as much as I can. I mean, I talk to my students every day, but it can be really hard to teach this way, especially when you're a special education teacher. And so much of what I do is hands-on and leaning over their shoulder and seeing what they're doing and reading the room. This is just really hard. So myself and my teammates are really looking forward to it just sort of being over, because this is just not ideal for us. On to finished objects. I only have 2 things to show in terms of finished objects today. Maybe I shouldn't say only, but I think that's pretty good for 2 weeks, 2 finished objects. The first thing I did were the toolbox mitts. Of course, I've told you a million times my printer's horrible. So this is what the pattern looks like. And it is, well, it doesn't really look like that with all those lines, but that's what it looks like if you have a normal printer. It is by Debbie Stone and Marcy Vandale. I thought these were really cute, and I just wanted something small and short, and I thought they were going to take me 2 days to do. They definitely did not take me 2 days to do because it was fingering weight. It took a while, and then what happened was I didn't want to use double pointed needles. I had started to, and it was, I don't like double pointed needles. So they were actually done on a 2, I believe, and I do have the Chai Goose shorties, which I love. I love the shorties, but I don't know if I've ever showed you the shorties. I'll have to bust those out one of these days. But I don't have the Chai Goose shorties in a size 2. I believe they start, I think I have the 4 to 8 set. So I just ordered the 1 and waited for it to come, and then I did it. So it took longer than I thought that they were going to take. But here it is. I did not weave my ends in on this one yet, and I also didn't realize that I made a big mistake when I was making it. And you know, I've already told you how I feel about mistakes, and it just is not something that bothers me. And I'm probably the only one that would even pay attention. So if you look closely, you can see that my colors don't match up. I don't even know if you can actually see it here. So these blues are switched. And again, not something that really bothers me. I would still totally wear them. I don't care. These are the leftovers in Malabrigo from my Find Your Fade shawl. And I still have some left over. I feel like I could make 2 or 3 more pairs of these with what I have left over. They're really cute, comfy. I'm not a big mitt wearer. I do occasionally. I can tell you my son is obsessed. So if I just have them sitting out, he'll just grab them and put them on. So I need to finish weaving these ends in. He just thinks that they're so comfortable, and now he wants a pair of mitts. So I told him that maybe when the weather gets cool again, I'll knit both of them some, because they definitely don't need them with this weather right now. But there they are, the toolbox mitts. I really like them. Comfy, they're lightweight, and I think that's all I had to say about those. So I will take those off. And the other thing I knit, which I can't say enough great things about, was the Felix Pullover. And that is by Savory Knitting. I know, not in color. I did it in We Are Knitters, the petite wool. Can I grab that from here? Hold on. It comes and it looks like this, like in a skein that looks like this. And I used the color, I think it's ochre. You know, I'm sort of on an ochre kick right now. And if it isn't ochre, it's whichever one is yellow. I really liked it. When it first came, Yarn Bestie was like, oh, it looks like roving. And you know what? It sort of does look like roving when you look really, like when you really look at it. It didn't feel like roving so much when I knit it, or what I should say is it wasn't easily breaking apart. What I can say is it does split quite a bit, but not in a way that is annoying. I had to pay attention to what I was doing while it was splitting, but it wasn't in a way that roving would have split. And I feel like roving pulls apart easily, and this definitely didn't. What I can say about it, is that it is so warm. They are not kidding when they call this the wool. This is really warm. It's really dense, and it made a super dense fabric. Yarn Bestie's gonna make hers, I think, short sleeve in this. And I was cautioning her that it's really heavy. I don't know if you'd want to wear short sleeves with this in the summertime, but maybe she's going to layer it, or maybe she doesn't care. So here it is. And I wouldn't say anything different than probably anybody else said. Everybody really has commented that they love the raglan increases. They are yarn overs that make this really cute pattern, and I really love how they look. It was such an easy knit. I think I knit it in 4 days. And I could have probably done it in a little bit less. It was just that, what happened? Oh, I got really busy one day and I didn't really have an opportunity to knit. Give me a second and I will put it on for you and you can see what it looks like. So here it is. I know I don't have the world's best lighting. It is a cropped sweater, and it was supposed to be shorter than this. I think it was supposed to come to about here. I decided not to do mine that cropped. I don't really like wearing things that are that cropped. I will put a longer shirt underneath it. I happen to have a longer shirt on today. I know I can't really back up any more than I already am. You can do a dress with it, but I'm not sure. It's way too heavy for me to wear in the summer. I never go down a needle size. Well, I shouldn't say that. It called for me to go down 2 needle sizes for the ribbing. I went down 1 needle size, and I don't think I even went down on the bottom. I don't like how that makes it tight, and I feel like it's kind of uncomfortable when it's like that. It's baggy in all the wrong spots, so I don't usually do that. So this is maybe just down 1 needle size in the wrists. I have not blocked it yet. I think when I block it, this will lay. These are a little bit bumpy. I think they'll lay a little better. I cannot tell you the joy I had in knitting this. Day one, I had this entire top section done to here. I split for the sleeves on day 2, the morning of day 2, and I could have done it day 1 if I had spent more time doing it. It was insane how quickly it went. I did feel like I went through the yarn quicker than I'm used to. I think maybe just because I came off of that fingering weight yarn and it was so thin and it was taking forever, and I was going through skeins really quickly. I bought 5. And I had this much left over. So that's a good amount left over. It was maybe 4.5 skeins of this yarn. I really wasn't sure what to expect with this yarn, and I'm so pleased with it. Actually, Felix Pullover has a Felix cardigan. And I was thinking that I'm definitely going to do the cardigan. It says worsted, and this said Aran weight. The cardigan says worsted. But then when I read the notes, and they said if you're going to substitute yarn, I think it said an Aran or even a chunky. I did the size 2 in this, and I don't ever do size 2. I always do size 3, which is somewhere around a medium. And it depended on how much ease you wanted, how much positive ease. I did it, the one with 5, it's about 5 inches positive ease on me, and I still think that's a decent size right there. So yeah, I would have normally done a medium, and this is a small, and I think it's fine the way that it is. I think in the cardigan, I'll do the same thing. I don't think it needs to have all that positive ease, and I know some people like that, but I just didn't want it to be quite that big. I'm super, super pleased with it. Very, very fast. I did a sleeve a day. I did from here to here, and then the bottom was, it's just that in the round, keep it going. So 4 days, and it worked out really well. I'm so happy. I highly recommend it. It's a super fast knit. That's a definite. So I don't know if I'll do the cardigan right now. I have a couple more things that I already have yarn for and that are on the horizon. So I want to take time to get the things that I already have yarn for done. But love, highly recommend. I hope that color's coming up. Well, it's an ochre. I've already told you about my yellow obsession. So that is that. I'm going to take this off because it is a little warm for this today. Okay, so that's better. So what am I working on right now? I just worked a little bit on that Twinkletown shawl that I've been doing in between projects, or when I'm waiting for yarn, or when I'm waiting for something. I'm not going to show you again because you've already seen it, and the pattern really isn't any different. I still really love how it's coming out. It's just it kind of gets a little boring for me after a while. I would almost even prefer just stockinette than to this pattern with the slips and the wraps. It's okay. Maybe I'll feel differently when it's over. Sometimes I think you get kind of lost in a pattern and you get a little bored with it. So it's just do it whenever I have time, or when something is too complicated and I can't take the complicated thing in the car. But what I am working on, and I'm sure this won't be anything new to anybody because it's been all over Facebook. This has popped up on my screen. People keep sharing it with me because people don't necessarily understand that knitting and crocheting are different, and why would they? If you're not a knitter or a crocheter, you wouldn't know. But it is the Perfect Pockets shawl. I'm sure I shouldn't show you all of that. And this is what it looks like. It is a shawl that has pockets and fringe. I think the pockets and the fringe are what make the whole entire thing. And when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it's cute. And then my mom is like, let's get the pattern and let's try to do it. And I'm like, it's crochet. So I did start it, and I did try to crochet it. I'll be honest, I just got acrylic from Joann's because I really wasn't sure if it was something I was going to be able to do. And I can crochet basic, not anything great. I'm not the greatest crocheter, so I used the yarn that Oh, I just pulled some stitches out. I used the yarn that was recommended, which was a Lion brand Heartland. It looks like this. But I'm not, I don't use acrylic a lot, and I'm not loving it. I'm not loving the way it feels. I got just a gray smoky mountain color. It does look better when it's crocheted up, but it's just not my very favorite thing. So, and like I said, I'm really not a good crocheter. I got this much of it done, and I know that my tension isn't great. I can see that I don't even know if you can see it. Yeah, you probably can. It's kind of bowing, like it's going like this, which would make sense if it was going around me like this, except it's not. It's going the other way. So it's bowing the wrong way, and it's not supposed to be bowing at all. I think I got the stitches down for the most part. It's really just single crochets, double crochets, and half double crochets. So it wasn't anything that I couldn't do, but I'm not a crocheter, so I couldn't really do that well. What I can say that I love was the border of it, which I can't remember what the border was. Maybe this was a series of half double crochets. So what I decided to do, because I still really like it and still really wanted to wear it. Okay, listen, my mother thinks that this is just fabulous, but I'm not, I am not a pattern writer by any means. I just took another pattern that I had with lace that I liked, that I thought looked similar, and I decided to try to make the lace part of it knit-wise. I started it yesterday, and this is what I have done. So what I think I'm going to do is keep going with this pattern till it's the specifications that the pattern, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even say that the design is by Sonia Hood, and it is called the Perfect Pocket Shawl, and she is Knock Yourself Out crochet pattern by Sonia Hood. So I used her finish measurements, and I have the width minus what it would take when I put the border on. And then, so what I'm going to do is just knit this whole lace pattern, which I really don't think looks all that different from this lace pattern. This one has like more lines in it, but nobody's looking that closely, and it's really just for me. So this, and then I'm going to put the border around it in crochet, because that came out well and I did that okay. So I'm going to crochet the border on, and I think I'll knit the pockets and then do the fringe, and I'll see how it comes out. I'm not using a fancy yarn. Joann Fabrics has been hard. I just wanted, like I said, something really quick and easy to see if I could do this, and I wasn't going to use fancy, more expensive yarn on something that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do. So when I go to acrylic, and I haven't really been, but when I do, my go-to acrylic, for the people who aren't acrylic people, they're, the yarn snobs are going to have a nervous breakdown right now. I use the Caron 1 pound. And again, like I said, this is just to see if I can do it. If I can do it, I may do it again, or give this one to my mom because I think she wanted one, or whatever I'm going to do. I can always make another one in nicer yarn, but I have to see if I can do it first. So I use the Caron 1 pound. The reason I do that is it's a very durable yarn. It doesn't split. It doesn't come apart in any way. I've used it a lot. I've used it in cowls. I used to make tons of cowls years ago, only in acrylic, and it doesn't pill. It doesn't get yucky in any way, and it holds up really, really nice. I would say it's the closest thing to wool that I've used, wool that holds up really well. So that's what I'm using right now. This was just a color that I had on hand. That's why it's the color that it is. I preferred the color actually that she did it in the picture. It looked really different when you went on Joann's website to see what the color looked like. It looked sort of like a beigeish white. I don't know, I didn't love it, but the way that it looks in the picture was really nice. Anyway, I'm gonna knit this, I'm gonna put the border on it, I'm gonna knit the pockets and put the fringe on, and we'll see if I like it. If I don't like it, or if I do like it, don't worry, I will take you along on that journey and you will see where I'm at. But I am not a pattern writer. I'm just giving this a try to see if I can do it, and that's where I'm at with that. So my crochet disaster, and truthfully, for a disaster, I don't think it's not that bad. You can see that my edging is ripply because I'm not a crocheter. I'm not good with the tension. I felt like the ends are, well, that stitch just came out, but I feel like the ends, I never know which stitch to go in, so you can see it's starting to go like, because I'm not doing it right. It's just driving me crazy, and I'm going to try to return this yarn because the ones I haven't used because I don't like it at all. Sometimes they let you and sometimes they're funny about it. So that's what's going on with my perfect pocket shawl, which isn't technically the perfect pocket shawl anymore because now it's just a shawl that I'm making with lace, a border, pockets, and fringe all on my own. That's what's going on with that. What I will be moving on to after that is the Andrea Mowry Golden Hour shawl. As you know, my printer did not print that nicely, so I'll have to maybe insert a picture or something. I don't think I can even show you. Look at that printer. She's great. Can you believe how skinny her legs are, by the way? Good Lord. God did not give me those legs for a reason. Because you don't even know what I would be wearing if I had legs like that. But anyway, we're on a self-love journey right now. Fringe field bag. This was the first fringe field bag I got. So cute. I love the yellow. You know me and my yellow. Here's that. And I picked Kettle One yarn. What happened was my mother-in-law so wonderfully gave me a gift certificate to an old yarn store that we don't, it really just does online now. And it's called Yarn Culture. It's in our area, and I don't shop there so much anymore because we have Lift Bridge now. It's a long story, they sort of took over. But anyway, she gave me a gift certificate. So I bought some yarn, and I got the Kettle One yarn. And I'm going to do the golden hour in these three colors, the ochre. What are these three colors? I guess I should tell you. I wasn't prepared to tell colors. It's, let me see. Amber is one of them. Shawl is the gray, but what is the blue called? Caspian. So Caspian. And the Shawl. And the ochre. Is it ochre? Amber. Sorry, the amber. Super excited about this. I have 6 skeins of yarn for that. And so that will be up after I finish this pocket shawl and if I don't have to make 12 more. Because of course, once it's posted online, then everybody starts jumping up saying they want one. And as you already know, I'm a very selfish knitter. I'm not somebody who knits for people. And I don't know, maybe people can comment about this. I feel like I get this quite a bit. People saying, will you knit that for me? And I'll pay you for it. And I never really know what to say or how to respond. I always just try to say to people, even if I used good yarn, it's expensive. And if I didn't use good yarn, it's really, really time consuming. And I don't think people realize how many hours go into that. And I think that somebody would look at that shawl and say, oh, I would pay $30 for it or $40 for it. But that shawl took me like, I don't even know, $100 worth of time. And then you have to add the cost of the yarn on, probably more than $100 worth of time. And people don't realize how much time and energy it takes to buy the product, make the product, and then I have to have some sort of profit. So I'm not really comfortable knitting things for people, and I usually just kind of smile and keep going. But I don't know. I don't know what other people say. I know that some other people will say, I won't knit it for you, but I'll teach you how to knit it, which is what I probably should say. But in this instance, I'm not really sure how to knit it. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. So we'll see what happens with that. And like I said, I'll take you on that journey. I thought it would be really fun today. I don't know, maybe not fun, but I thought it would be interesting today to show you some of the shawls that I have made over time, some of my favorite ones. I've shown you a bunch already, so I won't show you ones that I've shown you before, but I grabbed a few and I thought I would share them with you. My first 2 that are up, I made both of these, not back to back, but I made one and a few months later I made the other one. This is the Moon Sisters shawl. It is gigantic. It is a Caitlin Hunter pattern. I made this one I think I made it in Cascade. You hold 2 fingering weight together, and then when you do your middle part, you do some color work right in the middle, and it has fringe on the bottom. I can't tell you how long I looked at this shawl online before I decided to make it. I first saw it, and I felt like, okay, I think I'm going to make that. And then we went up to Old Forge and they had the yarn, so I bought the yarn and then I made it right away. It definitely took some time. This was a time-consuming knit because, as Stephen West would say, it is a schlanket. Really big. I wore it quite a bit. We went to New York City. I had it on pretty much the whole time we were there, and I really, really love it. Super, super warm. I'm happy with the cascade. I always think of Old Forge when I'm wearing it because that's where I got the yarn. So what happened was I wanted to make a second one, and we had a yarn store that has now, I believe, gone out of business. I went in and they were having a sale and there were all sorts of things going on, and then I kind of felt bad like I should buy something, so I did, and they had some Barocco, and I decided to, I think they were DK, but they seemed light DK, so I held those two together and I made a smaller one. I did want a darker one, so I made it with black and gray. Those two are just dark gray and light gray. And I made it smaller. I took one of the repeats out because this was thicker yarn. I'm really happy I did. I love that that one's big, but I like the wearability of this one a little more. It's not so overwhelming. Where we live, it's really, really cold. So I'll have a gigantic jacket on and then I put a gigantic shawl over it, and it can be a lot of layering. So here's this one. My fringe isn't falling so well. The reason for that is I put all my shawls away for winter, and I could cry on the floor right here. I literally texted Yarn Bestie and was like, I'm tearing up a little that I just put all of my knits away for the winter, because clearly we're done with that for now, and it's okay because the sun has replaced it. But anyway, in addition to the color work that I love this lace pattern that she has on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it better in the other one. She did a lace pattern on the bottom. I think I messed it up the first time I did it in one half of the first row, but it didn't really bother me. It wasn't anything you can see. But I just think it really gives it a lot of character. I'm a little tangly down here. It's like it needs to be brushed. So highly, highly recommend that if I haven't already shown these to you, which maybe I have. The next shawl that I love is my Mara shawl. Oh, I'll post at the bottom of the screen who did these because I may not always know. This is Madeline Tosh. I definitely made a mistake at one point in the middle, but again, with a shawl, you can't always tell. And at the moment when I did it, I didn't notice. I think it's right here. Don't care. This is done in Life in the Long Grass Harvest. Super soft. Love it. It's like cozy and wonderful. You have to be careful when you go to do your border because I believe you double your stitches and then you keep going with the border with the double stitches. So I would just say be careful with that if you are getting ready to play yarn chicken. I wore this one to the day before Rhinebeck when I did India Untangled and all that because this is the same color as the yellow in my Swancho and I needed to match. So there you go. Love that one. Highly, highly recommend. One of the first shawls that I did, I have no idea what I was thinking, but I saw the pattern and said, that's beautiful. I have to make that. And I had never done brioche, and I decided that herringbone, two-color herringbone brioche was a great place to start. A little nutsy sometimes. I did make mistakes. I've never said the F word so many times in my life probably when I was making this. You'll see mistakes right off the bat, like I'll point it out to you, like all right here, and it's not a mistake all the way around, like this section is correct. But that is the Ramble shawl by Andrea Mowry, I have to say. I think I did pretty well considering I had no idea at the time how to brioche, herringbone brioche, or two-color brioche. So there you have it. It's one of my faves. No idea what yarn I used. That was a while ago. So if you want to give that a try, they do have a lot of things online, and Andrea Mowry posts videos too on how to do things. There were a lot of videos on YouTube that explained how to do things, so I was able to figure it out for the most part. It's funny because now that I know what I'm doing and I look back, I can definitely see things I could have done differently, but I just love that really pretty arrow pattern. It just reminds me of branches in a tree. Love that. Another one that I did, and this was one of those, oh, I love that. I think I'll make it, but I have no idea how to cable like that. I mean, I could cable, but not without a cable needle, which I, of course, can do now because I showed you my portage cardigan last podcast. But this is the Andrea Mowry Winter Honey. This was really fun. I felt like it was going to take forever, but it didn't necessarily take forever. That's that honeycomb. I don't know if you can see that there's sort of circles. See how it goes like in a circle? The honeycomb pattern. This is done in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in the color Hayloft, which is the same that she did hers in. Loved the bottom. I wore it for a while without blocking it, and then when I finally blocked it, it was like night and day. It was very ripply at the bottom, but I just really wanted to wear it. And then when I blocked it, it flattened and looked stretched out more, and it opened up the pattern more. And I knew I had to do it, but I just really wanted to wear it, and I was kind of lazy. So I can put that on so you can see it. I feel like hers is a lot bigger. There are two sizes, and I did do the bigger size. Hers looks a lot bigger to me, and I had gauge, so I don't know. Just the way it came out, it's fine with me, but there's that. So pretty with these big circles. Love. And the last one, and I ordered that yarn. The last one I will show you is the Farmhouse shawl. This one reminds me a lot of the Moon Sisters. If you really liked the Moon Sisters and you want something like that, I suggest doing either the Farmhouse shawl, which is cabin 4, or the Stephen West Boneyard shawl and just put fringe on it. This is very similar to the Moon Sisters, except it doesn't have that color work in the middle. The middle section is very similar to the Mara shawl, I feel like, and the Boneyard shawl. It has like that middle stitch. I'll tell you what I didn't love about this pattern, and I followed the pattern, and maybe it's not even something you can see. I wish when the cross had gone in the middle, like when this had crossed out in the middle, that they had you do it differently. I don't love how there's a stitch that kind of sticks up, and that's how the pattern goes, and I don't necessarily love that. If I did it again, I think I would change that. Nevertheless, very comfortable. Super, super thoughtless, easy knit. You're literally just counting what row you're on, and then you do, I think, 4 different rows of a pattern right there. I got this yarn at Chelsea Yarns when we went to New York. Chelsea Yarns is in New Jersey. And this is I think it's called Haiku Simply Worsted. One of her workers helped me. I wanted something red. I love red. I wear it all the time. He was super, super nice, and he helped me find it and helped me find extra because I needed more than what was visible. So yes, I definitely recommend this. I never have been somebody who wears fringe. I feel like it's weird, but now that I've been making things and putting fringe on it, now everything must have fringe. It's sort of how some people are obsessed with mohair. I'm sort of obsessed with fringe now, so everything gets fringe. This yarn is really, really squishy, and it's really soft and cozy, so I also recommend it. There is something about it that's weird. I'm sure very yarny people can say what it is that's weird, but I feel like it's very circular. I don't know how to explain it. All the yarn people are going, this is what it is, and I don't know what it is. It's just very like round and put together circular. It felt sort of weird when I was knitting with it, but I really love how it feels now that I have it on and I'm wearing it. So that is the Farmhouse shawl. And today's knit outfit will just be a picture of me wearing the Mara shawl. I believe I just have leather boots almost up to my knees, and it's just one of my cozy outfits that I wear, and you'll get to see me in the Mara shawl, which is another one that I really recommend. Most of the shawls, well, not most of them, some of the shawls I've shown are much easier than other ones. This was a very easy knit. I would say Moon Sisters is somewhere intermediate, maybe a little more intermediate, and I would say the Ramble shawl tends to be I would say it's a little more advanced. Maybe other people wouldn't say that, but I think it is now. So that is sort of a wide range of some different things that you could do And if you have any questions, let me know. Besides that, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And hopefully when I come back next week, maybe I will have a little more to show you on that pocket shawl. It would be great if it was done, but I don't know if it will be. So hopefully it will be, and we will see. Have a wonderful week.